So
that's fine.
So I was just going to start by asking you, like, what were your general thoughts about the government's decision to allow visitors inside care homes from the 8th of March?
I thought it was very optimistic. I was a bit shocked because, to be honest, they've not had our residents anyway, they've only had their first vaccination. So to go ahead and allow, a visitor inside without having the second vaccination was a bit surprising. I don't agree with it. I think at the very least they should wait until everyone's had the second round of injections. I don't know if you know anything about us, but prior to COVID, we were we had an open door policy for visitors. No one had to make appointments; they could just drop in when they wanted. And I'm desperate to go back to that, but I think we just need to do it really, really slowly. And he seems to be doing that with the rest of the country. But sorry,
That's all right.
Husband coming in with a washing. So he seems to be doing that with the rest of the country, but just not with care homes. So yeah, that's my view on that. I just find it a bit strange.
So do you think that might rethink allowing visitors inside when your residents have had the second dose?
Yeah, so my plan, I've been quite clear about and transparent with my residents and with the relatives, is that once they've had 14 days past their second vaccination, then I will look to introduce. They already have a designated visitor that visits them in the visiting pod that we've got. So that visitor will then be allowed to come inside into the person's bedroom for their visit, wearing PPE for as long as they want, really. And we're going to trial that on a 4-week basis and review it then and see how the infection rate is locally, how it's gone within Alexandra Court. And we hope that, hopefully it'll be brilliant and we won't have, we're lucky. I think from my point of view, we're lucky and we've worked hard not to have any COVID infections since this all began within our care home, which makes me even more cautious now because I don't want to spoil all the hard work that we've done. But visiting is so important and so crucial to people's mental health and well-being that I hope that soon they do the vaccination so that we can get going on our policy and see how it goes, because the sooner we start, the sooner we can open the home properly.
Yeah, definitely. So have you found that most of the relatives of your residents have been supportive of that plan and your decision not to allow them inside?
Yeah, definitely. We had once it kind of went on the news that Boris was going to let people come in on the 8th of March. We did have quite a few emails and telephone calls from family members, obviously quite excited. But when I explained to them that we haven't had our second jabs and that it's really important that we go slow, and I told them, I gave them a layout of what I supportive. If I remember, who thought we made the visiting pod that we opened, and that we shouldn't have done the visiting pod. We opened that from the 1st of October, so we had a bit of negativity there because they thought that we shouldn't be doing that at all. But obviously the majority were overjoyed that they could see their family members and loved ones. So it's been a good reaction so far.
So was your visiting pod outside?
Yeah, so it's on the at the back of where the dining room is. We've got 2 sets of double doors onto a patio. So the visiting pod's on the patio. So family members come around the back of the house and they go through one door to it. and then there's like plexiglass in the middle, and the residents come through the house through the doors and they sit on the other side, and it's worked really well. We've had the odd family member who's just been a bit overcome and they've just got around the plexiglass to hold the hand, which is awful, because you can completely understand where they're coming from, and at the same time you've just got to think of all the other residents that are in the home and protect them, and it's a difficult situation, but the visiting pod, that was on my mind from April, May, really, what we were going to do about visiting once winter came and once it got dark, because I knew over the summer it'd be fine because we could have outside visits on the patio, and it worked well, but I knew as soon as it got cold we had to have something in place, because that time when we couldn't have any visits, that first lockdown, everybody's well-being and those that live with dementia, everybody just really declined. So it's vital, these visits. You can't underestimate how important they are.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was speaking to somebody yesterday about that, actually, and about their mum who has dementia and haven't been able to see them, and they were so worried about them not being able to remember who they were. So
yeah, and it's just, you can FaceTime and you can have all these other technology that you can use, but it's just not the same for someone that lives with dementia as face to face. It just isn't.
Yeah. And then my final question was just going to be, what's it like to be in your role in a pandemic? Like, how have you found trying to manage everything in the situation?
Oh gosh, do you know, no one's asked me that question. It's been terrifying. It's been absolutely terrifying. From the first lockdown, when nobody knew what was going on, and we were under we had to make a lot of decisions. We were under a lot of pressure. There was, residents can go into hospital for various things, mainly it becomes from a fall. We had a couple of residents that had a fall, went into hospital in the first lockdown, caught COVID in hospital, and then they were wanting to discharge them back to the care home, as I'm sure you've seen
Yeah.
We put our foot down and said no, but the amount of pressure that we were under to accept these residents back was phenomenal. And you've got to think of the resident that was in hospital, you've got to think of all the residents that live in Alexandra as it is, and it's a lot of pressure to put on just me to think, what should I do, because I've never dealt with a pandemic before. I know how to deal with a D&V outbreak or flu, but I don't know how to deal with a pandemic. So it's been difficult. You're managing the residents' expectations, you're managing the staff's expectations. It's difficult. The staff usually, you've got things to look forward to throughout the year. The staff haven't had anything to look forward to, so work has been all encompassing, and it, little things flare up all the time, so you're putting out fires. It's been a juggling act.
Yeah, I can say imagine.
That. But it's all worth it, because we haven't had any COVID, infections, and that makes every tear, everything where you think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It's just made it all. Oops. My internet connection is unstable. That doesn't surprise me.
It keeps telling me.
So that. Any other questions or anything? I know, sorry.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for taking 5 minutes out of your day.
Oh, you are more than welcome. Anything else, just drop me an email, okay?
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you.